concerns with this. So we're going to follow up that large group informational session with small group discussions. That way, hopefully people will voice questions that they have, and that we can help alleviate some concerns. Also, from the small group meetings, what we're going to do is generate a list of frequently asked questions and then distribute it to you and your supervisors, so people know what the issues are and then be prepared to discuss them. So that's what we have in mind as far as how we're going to the information communication. Any other immediate questions at this point? Well, to wrap up, what you can expect, since this is the first thumbnail view of this, is that at the end of the week I will send out another communication that provides more details for you and timelines of what will happen when. But I will tell you that we are hoping for the official announcement. We're targeting the official announcement in 3 to 4 weeks. So that is one timeline point that I can give you at this point. I thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for being here. As we discussed, the agenda for our meeting today is to share some updates with you on our health insurance coverage. And as department heads, I wanted you to be aware of some upcoming changes in our coverage. You know, healthcare costs, we all know, we see this, the healthcare costs are just rising nationwide. We're struggling. I mean, we're struggling with this expense, and just like our competitors are, and companies nationwide are. It's a huge challenge for us. And every year we find ourselves allocating increasing dollars toward employee benefits, especially health care. And our challenge, meeting that along with our challenge to stay competitive in the industry, really puts added pressure on us. So every year we're forced to revisit this issue, and that's what we're doing at this point, is reevaluating our healthcare situation. So I wanted to share with you some what's going to change in the healthcare plan for next year, the next plan year. The bottom line, just to kind of simplify this, is that we will be staying with our current provider, Orion, but we are going to change some aspects of the plan. We are going to, at this point, require employees to pay more. In fact, at a minimum, what we're forecasting is a minimum of $1,200 a year that they will be paying, and that will be reflected in a higher premium that they will be responsible for, as well as a higher level of copay. That's just sort of the nature of life and of organizational life, dealing with this particular challenge. By doing this, it really helps us out tremendously with our costs, which then helps us be more competitive in our marketplace. Now, on the plus side to this not so great news is that Orion will provide some dental coverage for our workforce and a partial reimbursement toward employees' health club costs. It won't totally offset this minimum of $1,200 by any means, but the bottom line, though, is that it really helps us out, and the plan, these changes do help us be more competitive in the marketplace. At this point, I'd like to open it up to questions that you might have.
Yeah, Lori, I'm concerned. I don't think employees are going to be very happy about this. It doesn't seem to fit in with our tradition of providing quality employee benefits.
And you're referring to the added premium
Yes.
and cost that you're saying. You know, I understand what you're saying. Nobody likes to pay more. I don't want to pay more. I'm sure you don't. You know, it's not the most positive news, I understand. But the bottom line, though, is that is that everyone's doing it. It's sort of a fact of life in businesses that they're requiring employees to cover more of their health care costs. And again, for us to offer that or to have employees pay more, it really does help us to better manage costs and help us to better compete. And we feel that Orion is the key to help us achieve that. And besides, we have considered some alternatives, but the bottom line is that this is the best option that is available to us at this point.
I agree with Amanda. I don't think that employees are going to react very well to this change. So how do we prepare ourselves for their likely reactions?
You know, I understand that most people aren't going to be happy about the $1,200, but I don't know if I foresee as negative a reaction to this change as maybe what you're anticipating. And the reason is that, number one, the plan is very clear-cut, and I think that everyone is aware of rising healthcare costs. I think they see it. Their neighbors, they're talking to their neighbors about what they're experiencing. They read about it. They hear it on the news. So I'm thinking that it's not going to be that much of a shock to them, and that they might more readily accept these changes than maybe what you're anticipating. That's my thought.
Okay. Now I'm just kind of wondering if this is the only change that we're going to be facing, or are there going to be any other changes that we'll encounter with our benefits?
Okay. You know, I don't foresee any changes other than this in the near future, but there could be, depending on our business and our profitability levels. If we're not meeting certain targets, we might have to do make some other adjustments. So I can't give you a definitive answer on that. But
okay.
What should be the plan to inform the employees of this change?
Well, again, because my assumption is that this is not going to be a major surprise, and because changes in health care plans and premiums and that type of thing are fairly common and somewhat expected, I would say, by employees, I consider this more of something routine. And I think that we're planning on an email, sending out a mass email to employees. We feel that's a very efficient way of informing a routine change. And after the email, Orion does have a very detailed website, and we will encourage employees to access the website if they have any other questions. So I appreciate you taking time, and it's good to see all of you.
Thank you.
Okay. Good morning. Thank you for being here. As we discussed, the agenda for our meeting today is to share some updates with you on our health insurance coverage. And as department heads, I wanted you to be aware of some upcoming changes in our coverage. You know, healthcare costs, we all know, we see this, the healthcare costs are just rising nationwide. We're struggling. I mean, we're struggling with this expense, and just like our competitors are, and companies nationwide are. It's a huge challenge for us. And every year we find ourselves allocating increasing dollars toward employee benefits, especially health care. And our challenge, meeting that along with our challenge to stay competitive in the industry, really puts added pressure on us. So every year we're forced to revisit this issue, and that's what we're doing at this point, is reevaluating our healthcare situation. So I wanted to share with you some what's going to change in the healthcare plan for next year, the next plan year. The bottom line, just to kind of simplify this, is that we will be staying with our current provider, Orion,